Hello, welcome to the Monday afternoon stream. For those who don't know me, my name is Andrew Heffling, and today I want to work on some .NET DNN development for specifically in dependency injection. If you've been checking out my last couple streams, I've been doing a lot of DNN work, and we ended up creating a couple GitHub issues for a feature that we were working on that I wanted to show everyone. So I'm gonna pull that up. Let me go and start sharing my screen. Surface. All right, and I'm gonna drop this in the chat as well. So the other week we were working on some Razor Pages development for .NET and as part of that we ran into this problem where there was all sorts of circular dependencies with DNN, and we were trying to fix it. And I created this issue kind of documenting the problem, and I'll open up the code for it real quick. And basically this code right here is the module pipeline, if you will. It's called a factory right now. That figures out what type of DNN module your code is trying to execute, and then it will, render a web forms module, plain old HTML, MVC, or Razor 3. This is not Razor Pages here. This is just ASP.NET Web Pages, also called Razor 3, and the thing that I didn't like about this code, I never liked this, is that it uses reflection to load the assemblies up because of some circular dependencies. So I went ahead and created this GitHub issue. That kind of documented the problem and went through and saying, like, here's the circular dependencies. Had some good conversations with friend Mitch Sellers about what the problem was and how we fix it. And as going through and solving the problem, I tried pulling in a dependency injection library from ASP.NET Core, and stuff started working. So I created this pull request before the weekend, which, let me go to the top of it. This pull request here, which I'm going to drop in the chat as well. This pull request is an implementation of the same dependency injection container that is used in ASP.NET Core, and it now is working in DNN across all of the different modules. And what I've been doing is I've been going through and creating some sample code that I wanted us to play with today, and that other people can use to get their feet wet with the new with this new feature that's going to be in DNN 9.4. And before we started, so before we get started, no, actually, there's a. Oh yeah. So I wanted to go over a couple blogs that I recently released that are related to this. So if I go to my website, so I recently released this blog, which I'll also drop in the chat. It just talks about dependency injection in .NET Core and pretty much the stuff that we're going to be going through today. Why dependency injection is important, all about the dependency inversion principle from the solid principles, and properly abstracting away our implementation so our code can be abstracted away. And this is all very important, and I think I have some down here I talk about the DNN's migration, because if you watched any of the videos from Microsoft Build, they announced .NET 5, and it really confirmed some theories that a lot of community leaders have had, which is .NET Framework is not necessarily the best platform to be building your C# projects on anymore, because it's not really going to be supported. It's going to be supported, but it's not going to have new development towards it, like .NET Core, and .NET 5 is the next version of .NET Core. So, and Web Forms is not migrating to .NET Core or .NET 5, so we need to figure out a way in DNN to abstract away the system.web dependencies. And my thought is, utilizing dependency injection, we can do that by creating the appropriate abstractions around the different libraries out there, and that way the abstractions don't need to know about system.web, and that'll solve the problem, and we could safely migrate to .NET Core. But that's much easier said than done. So let's take a look at this project I've been working on now. So if I open up GitHub, I'm going to go over to my sample project that I created this here. And let me open that up in my solution. File, open project. That is not the right location at all. Let's go down to this PC, D drive, and sample solution. Okay. Now I have a local DNN website running right now. And this is running my fork of 9.4. Yes, the pull request hasn't been accepted yet. There's been a lot of feedback that has been provided to me today that I've gone through and updated for that pull request, but it looks like it's going to get merged sometime this week. So I created this little project that demonstrates dependency injection, and I got an MVC sample working, and I got a SPA sample working, and I've already written that code, and I wanted to continue along my path of getting a couple other sample projects done. So right now, I got my SPA stuff, and I'll just show you how this stuff works before we go ahead and create the next one. So when you set up dependency injection for DNN, you create a startup file just like this, and you have it inherit from the DNN startup class, which provides the necessary hooks, and then you just register your dependencies. So I created this message service here, and we open up my message service. It just defines one method, getMessage, that returns a string, and the implementation for it doesn't do anything. Just hard codes a string. You know, you could put in, maybe read this from a database or something, or from like an Azure function, or wherever your data is coming from. And then in my home controller, I injected it right into the constructor. Well, like this code right here will not work in DNN 9.3 or earlier. It just won't work. You'll most likely get an exception of some sort. But with the new dependency injection library, it does work. It resolves my message service based on the startup code here to message service. And then I can just use it in my function here, and it all works. And as part of this sample code, one of the things that I'm trying to do, which is not typically how I build DNN modules, is I'm trying to leverage these build scripts that create the installer for me. And that way it's easy for someone to come in here, change their configuration to release, and rebuild, and then they can just open it up, and we have that installer there. So let me go to the folder that's going to be created in. So we got this new modules installer folder. This was just created at 4:24 p.m., which is the time where I live. Done. Alright. So now that we did that, I want to go and create another module. So I'm actually just going to go and duplicate the SPA project. Let's go source. And we're going to create a Razor 3 project. And now that that's created, we'll come in here, and I'm just going to rename this to be Razor 3. And we'll rename you to Razor 3. The rest will update once we add the to the system. So, and I'm going to remove this just because creating certain commit histories for blogs that I'm writing that make it easier for people to work on individual versions or module types. So I'm having like an MVC blog, I'm having a spa blog, I'm going to have a Razor 3 blog, and a Web Forms blog, and a library blog. And I want to make it easy for people to just go to a certain commit and get a clean state and a completed state. So let's go and add our sample project now. Called it Razor 3. Added. Done. Perfect. And first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go and just remove all the NuGets. So let me just go over here to installed. I don't want dependency injection anymore. Depends on all the things. So let's get rid of this library here. I don't think I'm going to need this one anymore. It depends on what API. Let's remove one. I would typically go into the CS proj file and do this, but I really can't do that because we're using the older style CS project files, which makes things slightly more difficult, and it's better, just safer just to use the UI because there's a couple different moving pieces here. Removing those. Perfect. Let's get rid of some of the code that we don't need anymore. We can add it back in later. I don't need startup or route config, that's gone. Don't need index.html. Don't need services. We'll leave a models folder, we'll leave an images, don't need controllers. Model, okay. Packages don't care about. Let's rename this to say Razor 3. Let's open it up. I'm going to rename this to say Razor 3. And I'm just going to copy that and plug it in throughout these. One of the things that I hate the most is modifying this manifest file. I find that it can be kind of confusing to understand it, but fortunately the spec's pretty well documented for the most part. A couple things could probably use better documentation, but can't everything. Okay, so that all looks good to me. Now I need to update my assembly. Razor 3. Razor 3. Open up my assembly information. Update the title to say Razor 3. Hit OK. Save. I know it's not going to give us a working module, but I'm still going to build it in release mode and just make sure that it generates the file correctly. There's an error. Source Razor 3. Could not find spa. That's. Oh, I know what's going on. There's a little thing at the end of the CS proj file that's referencing .spa. Let's see. Let's fix that. And we'll reload it and rebuild. Perfect. Now if I go to my module installers, we have Razor 3. If we inspect it, we have our manifest file. We have our assembly in the bin directory. We got our license and release notes and resources. Perfect. And the way Razor 3 modules work is we're going to create a views folder, add folder, oops. Let's just commit what I've done so far. So I'm going to say added Razor 3 module that contains no views, but all namespaces and manifests have been updated. Commit all. My password. Perfect. So now that I've done that, I'm going to go and create a views folder. That's where we're going to put our views. So I'm going to create a new item in here. I'm going to call it. Let's just go and look up a CSHTML file. I want a Razor v3 web page. That's what I want. Web page. I'm just going to call it index. Perfect. I don't want any of that anyways. So now that I got that done, I need to include a nugget or NuGet. Let's go and find our NuGet. It's going to be .NetNuke.web.razor. It's not going to be my local NuGet feed. It's included. Provides references to core components such as caching, security. Let me take a look at the new spec. And down in nuke.web, dependency on web. Let's open up the actual platform code. I think I might be missing something. I might need to do the MVC project. Where is it? Here we go. Platform code. Alright, now that loaded. Let's go and take a look at some of the dependencies we shift which.nuke.web. Not including Razor, so that's problematic. Include .NetNuke.Razor? No. So I need access to this model here. Let me go take a look. I did have some sample code that I had written earlier, but I want to look. Yeah, let's take a quick look at that. GitHub. I don't want the project because the project had no building, so the building engineer, so let's do this. So that's there. Oh, that's right. That's why. Alright, so one of the weird, you put in quotes, air quotes, the weird things with DNN is it really doesn't matter what you reference here. unless you're shipping that library with your module to install. If you're trying to leverage core code, at least for CSHTML files, it's not going to be compiling it here. The CSHTML is going to be shipped over to the DNN website, and it'll just work. So what we'll do is we'll say that this guy inherits from .NetNuke, .web, .razor. Where is my namespace here? Yep, .razor, and we're going to say .NetNuke web page. .NetNuke web page, and our model is going to be, I'm going to call it index model. And we'll get rid of the hello world model. And I'll create a new model here called index model. Perfect. And that's under model. So then I could say at using, what do I call this? Let's go back to index model. Take the whole namespace. Don't make semicolon. So that resolved. The fact that this .NET web page is not resolving, I don't like it. It's kind of code smelly, but it doesn't really matter. And there's no NuGet for Razor 3, and I don't see any reason that we should push to release a NuGet for Razor 3 since this is deprecated right now. So this will still work. This is h1 hello world, or I can render a model, so model dot model dot message. Say title. This is kind of a title here. The index model. Public string title. That's it. Maybe this. Use a fat arrow and say hello world. And play. Okay, so got that working. Get rid of the unnecessary using statements. And going back, oops, wrong click. So at model.title. Alright, so the next thing I want to do is I want to update my manifest file. So under the components, there's going to be a section called component type of module. And this is kind of where the magic is done here. So we have our module controls, and inside module controls there's an item that says control source. So inside modules where all the modules are stored, and then I created a folder called DNN dependency injection samples when I'm putting the different modules in there. So this is the Razor 3 module. And underneath that, there's going to be another folder called views, and it's going to be under CSHTML. So that things will work. So let's build it. 438 for the timestamps. That looks right to me. Under resources, we have a folder called views, and it has our view. Perfect. So what I'm going to try doing is I'm going to go and try and install this on our DNN website. So let me log in. The host username and password. Okay, so let's go and create a new page. I'm going to call this page Razor 3 sample. And the permissions is anyone can view it. It's fine. Page. And page has been added. Let's get rid of this module. We're going to work with our own module here. Use an extension. Install. Let's go to this PC. D. DNN. Samples. Oops, not bin. Module installers. Now I want the Razor 3 installer. Okay. Our manifest file is correct, otherwise it would have errored out there, so this all looks good to me. So step through everything. The installation succeeded. Okay. Let's see if it'll let me install it. Let's let the page reload first. So now we have our Razor 3 other modded. Error. Error. Razor 3 module is currently unavailable. Module object reference not set to an instance of object. Our favorite error message. Okay. Let's figure out what's going on. So I'm going to throw this in debug mode. I'm going to rebuild and decide load the assemblies. So on the folder, source, Razor 3, bin. It's going to be this one, a little longer. And that one there. Control C. Let me go to the location of where my DNN website's installed. Platform. Website. Done. I'm just going to replace those. It's going to include my PDB files. So now, I'm also going to attach. Since I have it's a debug instance of DNN that I'm running, I can just attach processes very easily and reload and see what happens. That give me a little bit more information. Okay, so the application startup code's firing. Skipping through a bunch of breakpoints that I had previously set. Let's close all documents. Wheel is spinning. Okay. So we're in DNN HTTP controller, select controller. Why are we over here? So controller type. That's for the edit bar. Don't care. Okay. So it's still failing there. Let me go take a look at the logs, see if something useful popped up there. Object reference not set to the instance of an object. Line 284 of module host. Let's head over there. Module host. Let's go to 284. And we'll do a reload. 284. Step in. Make this a little bit easier to realize what's going on. Okay. Get module build factory. This is our extension. Our extension is. Uh-oh. It's a CHTML, not CSHTML. I bet you if I change this to CS, everything starts working again. Factory? Oh, we totally got a factory. Hit the go button. It doesn't crash anymore because of render or anything, so we're getting warmer. Doesn't render anything. Okay, so let's stop this. It's nonsense. Let's head back over here. I totally missed it. No, but it says CSHTML. That says CSHTML. What happened in our generated file? See, this is why I get frustrated. These things. That's CSHTML. Why is it dropping the extension? Let's find out. So we got it, we're going to touch. And reload the page. Reloading. Still reloading. Yep. Oh, you see, this is really frustrating. This is a file path. This is the source, but this is not being pulled from the CS project file. This is being pulled from the manifest. So I had a typo in our manifest. Yeah, there it is. Right here. Let's make that a little bigger so people in the back can see it. I thought I updated all my fonts, but I just realized I didn't update that font. And that's kind of tiny. Make that 16. I like 16 point font. There you go. We're in the stream font size. So let's update that CSHTML. Save that. Let's go back here and actually increment our version number so we can just install it over the existing. Rebuild. Completed. And let's go install the version. Razor 3. Warning, you have selected to repair the installation. Cancel. Didn't generate the file because I need to be in release mode. Let's rebuild. Then rebuild. Razor 3. 2. Perfect. Next. Let's accept everything. Done. Now we should at least get a blank screen. Well, look at that! It actually worked. I'm really surprised it worked. But that's good news. So our Razor 3 module works. Yay! Okay. Everything works, right? So we got our index page. See, except it doesn't matter that it errors. It's frustrating, but what actually happens is this raw text file. Switch over here. So what's actually going on here is it takes this raw text file and just put it in a box here, and the code is still running system.web, even though it's running Razor. So it takes this raw text file and runs it through this Razor processing code that takes that text and tries to output the HTML. So then it generates this new text that's just an HTML string, or a string of all the HTML data, and then it plugs that into the system.web web control and tries rendering that HTML. So it's still generating the stuff, but we're not doing anything as far as this project goes of serving the file or building it. It's just kind of a container that generates that install file. So if we go back to my desktop here, and we inspect this installer file, There's no CS proj file. The only assembly here is this razor3.dll, but that's just assembling the code, not the CS.html file. So if we look inside of resources.zip, this file is actually being read by the DNN website and then processing it. And it uses that assembly to do other things with it. Okay, so we got this working. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come over here and say basic sample of Razor 3 working. Commit. Know my password. And I'm going to open up my PowerShell here. So DNN, dependency injection sample. And I'm going to create a new tag called tag Razor 3 clean. And I can branch my don't save that. So I'm going to push this origin Razor 3 clean. And that succeeded. And over on GitHub, I will now have a new tag here called Razor 3 clean. And this provides a very nice, easy link for people to clone. And I don't want to be at that level, I want to be here. So now I could send somebody right here to this link, which why not drop it in the chat for everyone? Everyone following along at home. I just drop that. So you can just go ahead and clone that if you wanted to. That's not the right one. There you go. Should be able to easily access that build tag and get to that code, which will be useful for the tutorials that I'm working on as part of dependency injection. But since you're here on the stream, you get a sneak peek of a presentation I'm doing later this week of how dependency injection is going to work in DNN. So let's implement it for Razor 3. If we look back at the GitHub article or pull request, scroll down here. Did I call it out? I thought I called it out in here somewhere. Nope, I don't think I actually called it out over here. I called it out in the blog though. If you go to my website and you look at this article, I believe I said something about constructor injection. Yeah. So down here, we got supported modules for dependency injection that allow you to do constructor injection are Razor 3, SPA, and MVC. Web Forms doesn't. But there's still stuff you can do for dependency injection in web forms. So we're looking at a Razor 3 module. So constructor injection is going to work. If you look back at the pull request, Razor 3 module. So I will need to register both my service and my model. An example here. So let's go and do that. Let's go and add a NuGet. I'm going to select include pre-release, and I'm going to go select local NuGet feed only. In particular, I have added in the NuGets to the source code, so it's easy to grab them. So we have our dependency injection here. So I'm just going to click install. And it's going to prompt me for a couple other things to install. So it's going to install the Microsoft extensions dependency injection, like abstractions, the regular one, and the new dependency injection library that's included in .NetNuke. Yep. Perfect. Now, I'm going to create a new file here. Oh, screen just flashed. That was weird. Looks like everything in the screen is still running, so that's good. We'll create a new class, and we'll call it Startup. And in my startup class, I'm going to implement an interface that's in the .NetNuke dependency injection library. So it's called DNN startup. If I add using .NetNuke dependency injection, that should just be it. Yep. Let me get rid of those other usings. And I'm going to hit Control Dot here to implement our interface. So now this code is going to be ran when your DNN website starts up. You don't have to do anything else. That's it. That's how cool this stuff is. So we're going to do services dot add scope. And I'm going to say index model. Now do control dot access our models. Perfect. And this will all still work the same way else has worked. But I need to create some services. So let's go and create a new folder. Let's commit often, they say. Added DNN dependency injection library. Create startup. How to register services. Perfect. Now let's create a services folder. And inside this folder, I'm going to create another folder called interfaces. This is just something I like doing. And we'll create a class, and we'll call it iMessage service. And not a class, it's an interface I want to make. And our interface is going to return, it's going to have one method in it that's going to return a string. Call it getMessage. And let me just get rid of my using statements there. Okay. And at the services level, we're going to create a new class. And I'm going to call this class message service. This class is going to implement iMessage service. We'll add our using statement. And I'm going to implement our interface, getMessage. So this is the point where you could call a database or call your database to get some data out. Maybe you could call another web service, do some processing, do the thing, as we say, to get your data. What we're going to do is we're just going to return a string. We're going to say hello from, not hello from the dependency injection world. Big W, 2 exclamation points, save. Alright. Now I'm going to go register this service. So I'm going to say services, add scoped. And actually, let's do add transient, show you that you can use the different one, lifetime managers. Message service. We're going to add our using statement in for that. And I'm going to say message service. Oops. Regular message service, and we're going to add our using statement for that. So you have different lifetime managers for dependency injection. So transient, scoped, singleton. Now, transient means it'll always request a new one. Scope means it'll be one for each request. Singleton means once it's created, that's it. No new ones get created. It's just that one and stays there in memory. So if you start registering a lot of singletons, your memory starts to fill up very quickly. So you have to be aware of when it's appropriate to use the different lifetime managers. Okay, so now that that's done, I'm going to come over to our model, index model, and I'm going to create a protected iMessage service. You can create it private if you want. I like injecting my dependencies as protected. So if I need to do more inheritance, I have access to it still. So the message service, I hit get. And let's create our constructor now. So now we're ready to actually do our injection. So I'll do index model. I'm going to inject our iMessage service. See, there's nothing else that I need to do right now. If I run this code, it'll correctly inject the message service. Let's actually do something with it. So I'm going to say message service equals message service, and let's update our title to be message service dot get message. So what we're doing now is I'm injecting the message service into our constructor here, assigning it to our protected variable called message service, and then our title can now say is now mapped to the message service dot get message. Before we go back to our website, it just said hello world. Next time, so let's go and build our installer. Build succeeded. So next time we reload this page after installing it, it's going to say hello from the dependency injection world. So let's go and go to extensions, install. I need to increment our version number. Here's my manifest file. So we're going to make it say 3, save, build, rebuild. Let's try this again. So here's 0, 0, 3. Install. Next. Just skip right through the install phase here. Done. This is exciting. I'm going to reload the page, and it's going to work. Hello from let's close that menu. Popped up automatically. Hello from the dependency injection world. So that's pretty cool. So now our Razor 3 module is successfully using dependency injection. Well, let's go and commit that change. Added dependency injection to Razor 3 module. Commit. And let me just look at my tags again, because I'm going to tag this as Razor 3 DI. Push that up. Perfect. All right. Well, this was a short stream today. I got another piece of sample code done that I wanted to get done. If you are interested more in dependency injection for DNN, I'm going to be doing a presentation for the Southern Fried DNN later this week in Charlotte, North Carolina. And it's also available online. Let me get the meetup link that I can share with everyone. So I'm going to be talking about DNN dependency injection in .NET Core. If you scroll down, there is a call and instructions down here. They use free conference call, and you can go to it and come see a more hands-on tutorial how to actually use this stuff in the field. I'm using the same exact code I was working on today. And let me drop that in the chat for anyone. Alright, well, thanks for hanging out today with me while I do a little bit of dependency injection with DNN. I will see everyone on the next stream. Bye!